Hi everybody, this video is about how to add and subtract decimals. Parents, this is not anything different than what you have learned when you were in school. The way that we're learning how to add and subtract decimals here at Barstow at least is the same way that you and I learned, where we line up the decimals. So students, here's a quick explanation. It's really not that tricky. I often see decimal problems given horizontally like this, but it's really much easier to add them if you rewrite them so that they are vertical. So I'm going to write this 2.14 plus 0.9. Now here's the trick. The decimal has to be lined up, like the decimals have to be lined up. So I always put in the decimal first and then fill in the other digits that I need. And then if there's any empty spaces, I'm going to just fill them in with zeros as placeholders. Once the decimals are lined up, I can just add like I would normally add using the standard algorithm for addition. 4 plus 0 is 4, 1 plus 9 is 10, carry the 1, 1 plus 2 plus 0 is 3, and the decimal just lines up. So 3.04 is the answer, 3 4/4. So it's important, let me say again, to line up the decimals, not just line up the numbers. You see there's only one digit after the decimal place in this addend, and if I had lined it up with the 2.14 from up above, I would not have gotten the right answer. Over here, same thing with subtraction. So I'm going to rewrite it so that my decimals are lined up. 6 minus 1.02, so I'll put the 0 here. Here are my 2/100ths and my 1. And once they're lined up, I can use the standard algorithm for subtraction. Again, I'm going to fill in zeros where there are placeholders where there's empty spaces, just to make it a little easier on myself. 6 minus 0 is 6. 0 minus 2, I'm going to have to borrow or regroup, whichever word you prefer. Keep the decimal lined up. And 14 and 306 thousandths minus 1 and 200ths is 13 and 286 thousandths. So one other type of problem that you might encounter would be if you have like a whole number. I'm going to do a subtraction one. If you have like a whole number minus a decimal, maybe something like that. So remember that the decimals have to line up, but you might look at this and say, there's no decimal here. Well, we've talked in class quite a bit about how whole numbers have decimals after them. Decimal place comes right after, and you can put a 0 or as many zeros as you want afterward without changing the value of this number. That's what you're going to have to do when you add these decimals. So 10 point whatever, this is as many zeros as I need, minus 0 point, here's my 9, my 2, and my 1. So I'm going to fill in 3 zeros up here as placeholders. That makes it a little easier for me to subtract. And then, of course, I have to borrow all the way across. 10 minus 1 is 9, 9 minus 2 is 7, 9 minus 9 is 0, and 9 minus 0 is 9. So there's my answer right there, 9 and 79 thousandths. I hope this was helpful.